Hey everyone, it's Colaiacovo with pepper@marketing.com, and I'm going to be sharing with you today some of the tools and systems that I use with my marketing to help me stay on top of it, save time with it, and more importantly, make sure it gets done, which is a problem a lot of people have, and make sure that it gets results from the time that I spend doing this. So I'm going to share with you 15 things that are a big part of my marketing that I do every week. So starting off first, you always want to have a plan for your content. It's really difficult to stay on track with your marketing if you don't have a plan and know what should be going out every week, what should you be sending in an email or newsletter, what's going on the blog, what's going on social media. Now, I have a whole system for doing that in a way that you create one piece of big content and use it in many different ways. You can always hear more about that if you're on my email and newsletter list. I do have a new program that'll be coming up in September to help you with that. But the big thing that I really want you to know from it is you don't have to be creating content all over the place. You can create one main piece of content and use it in many ways, but you have to have a plan for how to use that. So that's something that I want you to think about first. Number two is I actually use a virtual assistant. So I have a VA that helps me with my marketing. I know not everybody can afford that or do that, but it is something that can help you save time. So some of the systems I'm going to talk about here are going to be things that I actually do with my virtual assistant. So if it's you doing all your own marketing, think about how you can do that for yourself. So I'm going to share my screen here now and go on to a bunch of different places that different systems and tools that I use online and share those with you. So I'm going to just move my little list over here on my other monitor so I can keep track of it. And I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started on showing you these different tools that I use in different systems that are online. So the first things first, I said you need to have a plan. Well, with my plan, I actually use a master list that I created about 11 years ago when I first started really getting into social media and online marketing when I was a virtual assistant, and I had about 15 clients that I did this for. So I needed a really good system to stay on top of it. So I created what I call my marketing master list. So I use that in Google Docs. I share it with my virtual assistant. And all the clients that I work with as well, we have one of these for all of them too. And it does have, you can see at the bottom, I have a planning calendar. This is the schedule that I use. So we basically have created it once. My VA knows now when things go out, when blog posts go out, what day they go on, what page. They go on my Facebook page, my Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever it might be. So this schedule and this master planner is huge in keeping us organized. We keep a list of keywords that we use in it. Anything that she has me review before it gets posted gets put in this different tab called Tips for Review. I have tips that I use I call entrepreneur tips. So we have all those listed in one spot and we keep track of when they've been posted, different things like that. So I could go on and on. This is actually a large document and it has all sorts of different tabs in it. So we keep things organized in this way and keep them in here so we can save and reuse them. So for instance, lead magnets. It's important that you post and share online about your lead magnets. Well, in this tab on here, we have posts that we've created for it. We have the special link for it, and she keeps track of them all in here. So that's what I call my marketing master list. And if you're looking for something like that, I actually have an annual content planner that we sell. You can find that on my website, pepper@marketing.com/ I think the URL is 2020 planner. I should have thought about that before I did this, but I'll put it in the notes below. And so you can get a lesson on how to use one of these master lists and content planner and in some sample posts that you could use as well. So the marketing master list is key because it helps us keep all of the information organized. I keep a testimonial document. So anybody that's ever given me a testimonial for my business, I keep in here. You can see that I keep the date that we got it, the name, the company, what they said, different things. There might be their picture in it. So I organize it here because a lot of times in my newsletters, I will put a testimonial, or maybe on a sales page, I'm going to have a testimonial. All I have to do is say, use, you know, Erica's testimonial, or use Kelly's testimonial for the blogging course, use Amy's testimonial for the Insiders Club. And so it saves me time. I don't have to go grab it. I know they're in this testimonials doc, and she goes and grabs what we need for the newsletter. So that's a testimonials doc. You can save it however you want. This is how I like to save it because I have the different categories and I'm a bit of a spreadsheet girl. But however you want to save them, as you're collecting them from people, and you should be, you would want to save them so that they're in an easy place to reuse. Get it on your website, use it in your marketing too. Then we have what I call a call to action doc. And I actually did a blog on this recently, but this is my actual document. Again, it's a Google Doc. We use Google Docs for a lot of things. And so in here, I have different calls to action for my free ebooks. I might have them for my Insiders Club, for my content planner, all those different things in there. So yeah, there's the URL for it, /2020 planner. So what I do with that is if I have a blog or if I have a newsletter and I want a call to action in it, I'll say use a call to action for the content planner, something like that. And then my VA, Natasha, knows exactly how to go and what to grab. And sometimes I might reword it a little different. And when I do, she saves it in this document so we have it again for the future. So that helps save a little bit of time there as well. I also have, I know what my ideal client is, and I know what kind of stuff they're talking about. And that's where the keyword in my master list here, the keyword list is helpful because I know what kind of hashtags I want to use and what kind of words we're talking about for the different clients. So knowing your client is really important. Again, I have a blog on my website about creating an ideal client profile. I'll refer to that in these notes as well for you. Google Docs we use a lot. I also use them for Instagram specific posts. So we keep these basically for 2 months at a time in one document. Otherwise it gets just a little too big. We use titles on here. So I date them. I call it a heading one. And then that way we get a bit of a guide on the left so that she can see and go through it. And so what happens is I go in here and I will write a week's worth of posts for Instagram. I have a system that I use, so I have some ideas that I know what I'm putting in there. And so essentially what I do is I go into this document, write it up. Then if I have special images I want in my Canva account, we also keep one file for those same 2 months. So I will go in here and I will put the pictures that I want if it's specific. Generally I do. I find that when I'm writing these, I have an idea in my head of what I want an image to be. So it's a little bit easier for me to go and put it in there. I don't download them to save and use. I leave that for my virtual assistant to do. But what I do is on each image, you can see here, you can actually put a title on these or a name. So I actually put the date. So she knows over here on, what was that, August 10th I was on. She knows that on August 10th, there's a picture in there. I've got the photo in there. Sometimes I put the picture of what it is, but since we started using this date thing, I don't really have to do it. She knows that that's the photo to go in there. If I have one like right now, I know for August 15th, because she was asking me about it, she said, you don't have an image. That's one I have to take of me for the specific post. So I will throw it in there. But it's such a good system that she actually knows I haven't given her that image. So keeping a specific file in Canva for that month of photos makes it easier. And so what happens, and I'll actually zip down to sort of having a system set up. That's the very last item, but I'll explain it to you when we get there. So remember that for my Instagram, I have a Google Doc and I have this Canva doc, and they're both for like that months of posts. So when I have them ready for her, I go into our project management system and I just put in a note, you know, these ones are ready for this date, and she knows exactly where to go to get them. So Canva is something else that we do use as well. We definitely keep a lot of things in there. And I do have a lot of folders that I do. So I save my logos in there. I have different clients that we use in here, but I also save things differently. So I have a folder called Pepper Instagram 2020, Pepper course covers, Pepper newsletter. So images we do for newsletters go in there. So I really sort things out a lot and try to organize them that way. And then when Natasha saves like an image for the newsletter, if I needed to use it or edit it somewhere, I know to go into that file in Instagram or in Canva, sorry. And if I wanted to go say, change this image over there, I could click it and bring it up and go in and fix that. So those are, Canva is number 8 on my list of what we use. And then Hootsuite is one that I use for planning as well. Oh, I thought I had that open here. I guess I didn't. So Hootsuite is a tool that I've had for years. I've had it since 2008, I believe. And I had a paid account way back when. It's $6 a month. I haven't given it up yet. It's now, I think, at least $20 or $25 a month. So I've been, put in on the original payment, and I've never had to change it. I use Hootsuite to schedule my LinkedIn posts. Well, I don't do it, my virtual assistant does. But we schedule my LinkedIn posts there, company posts there, and Twitter scheduling as well. So we use Hootsuite for that. Other people, you might use Buffer or Meet Edgar, SmarterQ. There's lots of ones out there. I've stuck with this other one because it does what I need. It posts to LinkedIn groups if I want it there. It posts to LinkedIn, the company page, all of that, and Twitter. So it gives me what I want with Hootsuite. And sorry, I didn't sign into that to get in there, but that is another tool if you want to look at that. For scheduling for Facebook, we actually use number 10 is Facebook Creator Studio. So on my business page in Facebook, we do schedule posts. We go into the publishing tools here on the page. And once you get in there, they changed recently. So it used to be just they had a publishing tool and a scheduling tool, and you'll still see that here on the menu. But ideally, what you want to go into is their Creator Studio. So you could go in here and create posts, but it's a lot more cumbersome to do it. So I would recommend going into the Creator Studio. And so this is where we go in and we schedule posts for my Facebook page, but I also schedule my Instagram posts in here. Now there's lots of different tools that you can use out there. I still do have a paid Planoly account, and Planoly would be my number 11, I think, item on my list here. So Planoly is something that you can schedule for Instagram. Unlike a lot of other schedulers for Instagram, it's not the kind where it's going to put a notification to your phone and you're going to have to post it. It posts it automatically because they are approved with a connection, an API connection for Instagram. Not all Instagram scheduling tools are. So right now I haven't been using it. I do like it because I can take a look. It has this grid look on it, which is nice to see if you want to plan things out. You can see when you have things sort of scheduled, what good times of the day are. I did pay for this for the year. One of the things that I really like on it are if you have a paid account, and for most people, you can actually use their free account and do what you need. You can do 30 posts a month. So if you're not posting more than once a day on your Instagram, Planoly free will work for you great. But Facebook Creator Studio is free as well. The difference between the two that I really like the Creator Studio on Facebook better for, you can add emojis right into the post there. On Planoly, you would have to create your post outside, insert the emojis from somewhere. Like if you created it in a Word document, you'll have to go to getomoji.com. That's another tool that I use. I didn't put on my list here. And from there, you can put them in and then paste it into Planoly, and you'll have your emojis in there. Facebook Creator Studio, when you go to create them over there, they actually have a little button where you can click for emojis and just insert them as you're going. That's kind of a nice tool. But what I like on here is that I can get, you can see that I can look up like the weeks or the months or the years and get some really good stats in here, like how many likes per post average, things like that. You can figure that out on your own, so it's really not necessary, but it is a good tool to use as well. So right now for Planoly, I'm probably going to decide if I'm going to renew it this year. And it's just a matter of if $84 a year is worth me just getting the stats, or how much is my time worth, or my time to pay my virtual assistant to get the stats. So that's how I always look at things like that. making that decision. So, but it's a really good system for it if you like using that kind of tool. You can schedule, no, you cannot. Can you schedule stories in here? I can't remember if we do it or not. I usually do stories on the fly. I think you can schedule stories in here as well. But I think you may have to use that notification and connect on there. I'll find out for that and put this in the bottom because it's not something I use. I always post my stories directly from my phone. The next thing on my list is allhashtag.org, allhashtag.com, sorry. This is a place where I go in, and if I'm looking and doing research on hashtags, I find it's really helpful. So maybe I'm going to do, let's see, digital marketing. So you can put this in and you can click top and have it generate the hashtags. And it will give you a list of hashtags that a lot of people use around there. And it will also give you similar ones as well. You can often find some good ideas of hashtags on here. You will then want to go over to Instagram, put it in there and see how many people are using it to know if it's effective. So don't just take the word of this, but it's a really good tool for getting some added information and background and ideas for hashtags as well. The other thing that I use is my Instagram line break captions for IG captions. So one of the issues I've had has been so annoying with Instagram is when you go to post stuff in there, you can put all the dots you want in between sentences and paragraphs that you're trying to make the space, and it just never comes out right. And I found it so annoying. So I went looking for a tool that would put breaks in there for me. This one works perfectly. So this one, I'll copy some stuff in here and show you. So all you do in here is you put in what you want to have, you put in your line breaks, you get everything that you need in there, put in your hashtags, put in your emojis, put everything in here that you want. And then when you're done, you can actually even do some bold stuff on here, which is kind of nice. You can put in some bold pieces if you wanted to, things like that. And then once you're done, you copy it to the clipboard, it moves it over here, and you paste it into, in my case, we put it into Facebook Creator Studio and post it there, and it comes up perfectly on Instagram with no line breaks that are missing. So it's perfect. Now they do have, I do a lot. So what I have actually down here on, I think I call it number 14, is my top strategy is a lot of the scheduling and a lot of the planning, creating, organizing that we do is on a desktop computer. I am not effective by any means on my phone, so I don't do a lot on my phone. If I try to, I have Canva on my phone. If I try to make an image on my Canva on my phone, it takes me at least 15 minutes. It's just harder to use. It's more complicated. Whereas in 2 minutes, I can have an image put together on Canva. So I have some things on my phone, but my advice really is to make a lot of this planning easier. Use your desktop, use your laptop, whatever it is, but don't use a phone necessarily because it's going to take you a little longer. The apps don't always have things set up the way that they do in other systems. So I think it's really important that you think about how long something takes you on a desktop application versus a phone to put together. Now, having said that, the Instagram caption tool that I use there, which is called appsforlifehosts.com, I'll put a link to it in the notes below this video. But they do have an app called Spacey. It's a paid app. You can put it on your phone if you want to get those line breaks as well. It does the exact same thing that this one does here. So it's kind of a neat tool in that respect as well. So then number 14 was my advice on desktop use for planning and scheduling and preparing stuff versus using your phone. Use your phone for the networking, because a lot of times the networking and the posting that you want to do and the engaging with people is a lot easier to use on your phone for some things, not all, but for some things. And then number 5 is really having a system set up to make all this work together. You can see there are all these different tools that I have, and my VA and I have a system that we use. So for instance, I'm going to just show you in, I have like when I do a newsletter, I have this article template doc. So I have image 1 that I want in my newsletter article, image 2 that I want, and I put entrepreneur tip style. Well, my VA knows that when we do something like that, it means, I think I saw one over here. She's making an image that looks like one of these images, what I call my entrepreneur tip style image. Okay. I have to get that out of there. That wasn't supposed to go in there. So we have a system and we know what's going on. Image 2 is the kind that she makes. Actually, they're right here, both of these. The kind that she makes that will look like one that goes on my blog posts, on my website, and in my newsletter article. So we have this system where we know that. Then I have the whole article. I put it all in here. I will have, that's for my proofer. The article goes in here. A client rave is a testimonial that's going to go in there. So that was a new one. I put it in there, but if I don't, it's got it. I've got it in my testimonials document. Okay. And then you can see, add her picture. It's in the website media library. So we know where that is. So then I'll have the catch up on the recent articles. And so I'll have like a link to the last few. So we have this system going. And we also use Basecamp, which is a project management system. So each week she lets me know what's due. So last week she put in, on Monday, I needed the Instagram post up to this date. On Monday, I also needed the newsletter. On Wednesday, I needed this. And hey, she's going away next week, so she needs my newsletter earlier. So we use this in here, but we have a system. So we don't require a lot of time and talking to get through everything in order to make it happen. So I tell her, the Instagram posts are there up to the 25th of August. The newsletter is getting proof Monday. I'll have it for you then. And yes, I got your message, and I'll have the other one earlier. So we have this system going on. Now, if you're working by yourself, it might have to be a system with you, and you have to be accountable to yourself, which can be tricky sometimes. But the thing is, set some deadlines, have things in place, and look at it in a way that you know that you're making sure that you're following that planned schedule, you're getting your content out there on time. And then once all of that gets sort of scheduled out there, so the planned stuff that we've got going, so I have a lot of these things in my schedule here that I know are going to be posted. I know the Instagram posts are going to get posted. So what I do is every day I go on my phone or I go on my desktop and I network and engage. So I have set time where I connect with people. And that's where the real magic happens in social media. But it doesn't happen if you're not planning things out. And making sure that you're getting some content out there to go and engage with the people that you're looking to engage with. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, was those 15 tips and tools that I use for my online marketing, and to try and make sure I get my marketing done on time and get it out there so that it's effective and that it works, that people are clicking on the links, that people are engaging with me, talking back to me, liking my post, commenting on it. It seems like a lot, I know, and you're probably a little overwhelmed, but I have to tell you, these tools all help me do things in a faster way. The system with my VA herself helps me do it. So there's all these different pieces that when we're looking at them and looking at how I spend my time to get the marketing out there, they do all factor in to saving time, getting things out there so that they're put out there in a way that gets results. So I hope this list of 15 items and this little tour of the inside of how I do my marketing has given you a bit of insight onto some ideas that might help you. Definitely, it is something I go into in depth on the new program that I'm launching in September, the Content Marketing Masters Academy. And it is something that if you want to hear about and know about, you can get on the wait list that I have at pepperitmarketing.com/CMMA. Or why not join me on August 19th or 20th? I'm having a free marketing masterclass, a webinar on the 19th in the evening and on the 20th in the afternoon. So there's 2 sessions you can choose from, and I'm going to give you some strategies on putting your content together. But I will tell you the program that I run is something that sort of goes through putting all of these different pieces together and using it in a way that you're creating content on a regular basis online that helps you get more traffic on your website, more leads into your email list, and ultimately converts those leads into customers. So I hope this was a helpful lesson for you, a little inside peek at how I do my marketing. And I will see you next time on my newsletter, article, blog, or wherever we meet online. Have a great day, and I will see you on the internet somewhere.